right? So a woman might say, I don't date guys under 6 feet tall. And that might not be true. Like maybe she would actually in practice date someone who's, 5'9" or 5'7" or whatever, right? But her saying that confers a status benefit because she's suggesting that she's picky, right? Which implies that she is high mate value.
How short would too short be?
I'm short, so anything my height.
Which is how tall?
I'm 5'2".
How tall are you, Bradley?
I'm 5'6 1/4".
I'm 5'2", so
Brad, this isn't looking good for you right now.
he's too short.
Sorry, Brad. You're not on the roster. All right, so how short's too short other than Brad's height?
Shorter than me.
How tall are you?
I think like 5'7".
I like tall girls.
Does height matter?
No, not to me.
Yes, for me. Like, at least they had to be like my height. Starting there.
Does height matter?
Yes and no. I mean, I'm 5'1", so everyone's taller than me. I guess it just depends on how tall you are.
Does height matter?
Yeah, it does. It depends how tall you are, and it depends how you view height mattering. But it matters to me personally.
Would you date somebody the same height as you or shorter?
No.
How-
I feel bad saying that, but no.
How much taller do they have to be?
I gotta at least be able to put on like 3-inch heels and not have to wonder if I'm gonna outsize them at a wedding.
I'm tall, so as long as they're taller, or my height and taller, that's fine. I can't date a short guy. I'm just too tall.
Recently got my friend out of rehab because by all means he was feeling a little bit on the silly juice and had to go to rehab because he was having a little bit of DV cases. So I ended up picking him up and I immediately took him to the bar because I'm a bad influence and I'm an enabler because I like having fun. Lo and behold, he's a little bit of a tall guy. I think he's rocking at about 6'2", 6'3". On a good day, maybe he's 7'8". I'm not really sure, but I know he's taller than me. I'm 5'5". So a girl approaches him and says, "Ooh, you cute." And they end up having a great conversation. They're talking to each other, exchanging pleasantries, having a great time. And by all means, he's a little bit hocked up on the silly juice, but he's controlling himself a bit better. Rehab did absolutely nothing, but I feel like he's just a strong drinker. So by all means, he stands up. She stands up too. And they're about, eye level. Maybe she's an inch taller. And she says, "Oh, never mind, this isn't gonna work." He says, "Why not?" She says, "You're too short." I was a little bit confused. This man has been a paragon of height my entire life. He's been Paul Bunyan. He's been Paul Bunyan and the Blue Box on top of each other's shoulders. He's been the tallest person I've ever seen. This man is Godzilla. He's a kaiju level threat. He's insane. But to her, he was incredibly tiny. He was minuscule, the size of a pipsqueak, Smurf Village status. I was a little bit upset. I didn't know what was going on. I said, all right, well. And he said, "Understandable, have a nice day," because he knows that women will get him in trouble, so he left. We talked about that for a little bit. This lived in my brain for a second. So I went to the mall a day later, and I ended up talking to some girls that were there, and I asked them, "Okay, what is a good height for you? What is too short for you?" They ended up telling me, they said, "Well, I tell you this much. He got to be at least 6 foot. 6 foot." Okay. One of the girls said about 5'10" is fine. I said 5'10", okay, all right. And then they said, "Well, aren't you about 5'10"? 5'10". I am 5'5". I am incredibly small. I don't wear shoes that have higher soles on them. I wear flat tops. I wear Vans. I wear very small shoes. I don't try to increase my height in any capacity. I like being short. It's very fun. Nobody thinks I'm a threat or an intimidation. And they said, "Oh, well, I didn't know that. Well, I'd date you if you were, ask me out." And I said, "Oh, that's cool." And I walked away. So I think either two things are happening here. Either women don't know heights, which is fair because men lie about their height all the time. A lot of guys who say they're 5'10" will say they're 6 foot. Or men like me may often incorrectly assume that they're 5'7" or 5'8" just because they don't like being a short height. That's a real thing. That happens so often. Those are very real phenomenon. And I'm discovering inside of my brain, inside of my mind, that a lot of people, for some odd, undescribable reason, believe that height matters when it comes to dating. You see, my entire life I've been incredibly short. I didn't just get this by getting super old. I'm not 60 years old. I may be but I'm not incredibly old where my spine is coalescing in on itself and trying to shrink and mess up my cartilage. I have been pretty short my whole life. And not once has somebody said, "Oh, you're too short, I won't date you." Mostly because I'm horribly charismatic and I appear taller because of the overwhelming charisma exuding from my entire body, coming and coalescing, speaking with great riddles and speaking like I'm a troll bridge person, like giving you riddles through like a sphinx, more so like a sphinx. That's a good analogy, a sphinx. I'm seeing a lot of people get upset, and what I've noticed is that shorter men, the reason they don't get taller women or women of a normal natural height is because they are insecure already about their height. They think they look strange next to a woman with heels. They don't want to be viewed as short because they're not doing it for the allure of women. They don't want to seem inadequate to other men. That's the biggest thing. More often than not, women will date you if you are short. Women will date you if you are small. But it comes with this incompetence, this small aspect of, oh, he's short, so he has an inferiority complex. They don't want to be with somebody that's unsure of themselves, uncharismatic. And that way, that's the biggest thing. Be confident in yourself is really the main message of the coalescence of how to get women. If you want to get people to just like you, just enjoying your aspect, being free within your own body, and you'll be fine. That's usually what happens. You may see a shorter guy with a super tall woman and you may say to yourself, man, how'd he get her? I bet she's super disappointed. That's you hyperimposing a preference that the social media game has put onto yourself. You are deceiving yourself. You're messing up your brain. You're making your body coalesce. You're making it feel like ants are crawling inside of your body and they're coming in and taking you over and piloting your mech body, and you're black pilled and you feel like garbage because you are setting your own self up for failure. You yourself are telling yourself, well, I guess I'm a failure. I guess I can't do it. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I got it in my body. You're ruining your own future by doing this. You're messing up your own bag. You're destroying yourself because you believe that women only care about height. There's so many other factors that go into it. Is he emotionally mature? Is he stable in himself? Is he charismatic? Most women will help you out of financial instability. Most women will help you become a better man. Most women will want to be with you. Most men want somebody to be with them. Most men dating men want another man that is good for them. Most people want somebody to just go through this hellhole, this horrifying existence with them. That's the important aspect of being here. But the aspect that you think people care about is so entirely superficial because you're thinking they won't like you before you even got up to bat. You're striking out before you even swung the bat. What are you doing? He hasn't even thrown the ball yet, dude. Why are you destroying it like that? You're Babe Ruth and you don't even know it. You could be batting, knocking out home runs, going crazy, going outstandingly. You could be Sicilian if you wanted to. Not actually in the race. I believe Babe Ruth was Sicilian. He doesn't look like a white guy regularly. I'm not going to lie to you. He looks a little bit different, and I feel like that's something that we should talk about one of these days, but I'm not going to get into Babe Ruth right now. My love of baseball politics. Let's talk about the fact that you don't believe in yourself. What did Naruto say back in the day? He said, believe it. It is you. Believe in the dream. Believe in the ability. All of these shows showing you that the underdog story is successful and you don't even believe yourself to be even more than the underdog. You got to be bigger than that. You got to be stronger than that. You got to be gigantic. You got to be huge. But you don't even think that you're worthy of your own time. Give yourself the time of day. Tell yourself what time it is. It's time for you to lock in. It's time for you to look at yourself and realize that this is not a time to go back and worry about, oh, I'm too short. Oh, no one's going to love me because I'm only 2 feet tall. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies with gentle hands, gentle men, the gentlest men I've ever met. I'm going to tell you this right now. Your perfect height, you're exactly at her ovarian caves. You can stand up and still you can do that. That's great. That's amazing. I want to impart upon you some wisdom and some knowledge. I have seen the problem at the bottom of your ego. I have seen the problem at the bottom of your charisma. I have seen it all. I have seen the destruction. And regardless of if you think height matters, regardless of if you think that matters, what matters are the factors that you control over. Your style matters. Not the clothes you wear, just the style in which you style them matters. Your hygiene is very important. You can control your work ethic. You can control how you clean your room. You can control if you work out. You can control your weight for the most part if you give yourself a healthy diet. You can control your flexibility. Work on the aspects you have control over. Do not have comparison be the thief of your joy. You will see a man that is towering. I met a man of 6 feet tall. He towered like a giant in a world that was so defiant of his height. That's never shall never. I'm not going to lie. That's just never shall never. I want you to know that women don't care about height. Some women do, and those women are worthless. They matter not. They don't matter to you in the real world. They are completely arbitrary, and they're never going to matter in the real grand scheme of things. You saw in the beginning of the video when I showed you all those examples, they don't matter. Those women don't matter. And if you see that all the time on public social media, you see that, you're going to crowd your brain with negative insight all the time. That's not how the real world works. Same way I can have a conversation with somebody on the alt-right or a Trump supporter or a Republican and them not judge me. I'm not going to know their political alignment because I'm just going to have a conversation with them. That's how the world works. You don't see their bio in real life. You just learn them as you talk to them. And people are a lot more willing to learn somebody despite their height if you just believe in yourself. Stop being a coward, okay?
I'm your Nick at night, be my Laura, please low. Ooh, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. Ooh, I love the ride when you